Okay, so I am in Photoshop now. I'm creating a Facebook header picture. I'm going to use 3 different layers. It's going to be a simple work in here. So just so you can see, I created a file, document that has 960 pixels width for the width, 350 for the height, resolution 72. This is basic resolution for screens. It's in RGB, of course. So what I want to do is bring a picture here, put a signature and dates for an event. That's it. Uh, the size of this file, by the way, is not like official measurements because the Facebook header pictures, the size of everything, the design of everything is quite new now to Facebook. So these informations will be available soon. But in this case, you can relate to what I just showed you. It's going to work just perfectly. So I have a picture here. I'm going to duplicate this layer into my untitled file. By the way, don't keep it named untitled. You better save it as a Photoshop file. A Photoshop file, remember, it keeps all the layers, all the working layers. So I just pressed Command T on my Mac or Control T on PC in order to free transform this thing. There's no need to hold the Shift key, by the way, in Photoshop anymore. This is quite new, so don't hold the Shift key compared to Illustrator or InDesign where you have to hold the Shift key when you are reducing or enlarging. So there's no need, you just pick the corner basically and you adjust your picture. All right, I'm gonna rename my layer. It's always a good thing to rename your layers. Um, so I'm gonna name it, okay, image. So you better organize your layers properly. So there are 2 different elements I want to bring in. First thing is my signature for my event. It comes from Adobe Illustrator. I'm just going to do a copy paste. Command C, Command V, Control C, Control V. You have options here. You better keep it as smart object. There's an advantage to it. You can always enlarge, reduce, the way you want. It won't affect the design of it. It keeps vectorial for the time you are working in Photoshop, in your Photoshop document. You can always edit that by double clicking on the icon here and edit this file into Illustrator, save, it's going to update in Photoshop. This is quite magic. So the next thing I want to do is add dates. So I'm going to use the type tool. I'm going to click. You can click, by the way, anywhere you want. You can always modify, place your object somewhere else. So I already have the proper font, but you can change it, of course, at the top. Change the size of the typography. If you want more options, you can always go under the window menu and go grab for example, paragraph panel. So you have options about paragraphs, but it's not the case here. So the character panel is the best thing you want to use. If you want to use, for example, if you want to change the space between the letters, you can change it here. Okay, so you see that could be interesting, and change, of course. Anyways, the leading, the tracking, everything is available here. So that's fine for me. So I'm gonna do again a Command T on Mac, Control T on PC. I'm gonna rotate this. I'm gonna hold the Shift key this time because I want to make sure that I'm really perfect at 90 degrees. By the way, you can choose, you can type it here at the top, the angle. You can choose 45, 90, minus 90, enter. And then with my move tool, I'm gonna move that. It's a bit big actually, so I'm gonna reduce that just a bit. Make sure you keep some space on the left, on the right for a Facebook header because this information might disappear when someone is watching your page with a smartphone, for example. So my logo is a bit small. Command T or Control T. I'm going to enlarge it a bit. There you go. Just a quick last thing. I'm going to rename my layer. Just the last thing here. If you want to make a specific effect, if you go under the layer menu, layer style, as you can see, you have options such as drop shadow, which is one of the most popular effect. And you can like make some changes, the space, the distance between the shadow and your object, the size of it. The more you add to it, the more blurry it's going to be. If you want to use outer glow, like a white glow around, you can push up the opacity a bit if you want it to be very white. The size, it's going to be more blurry if you push the size. And these are like examples of layer style you could add. Also, you have the layer mode. On your right, you see in the layers panel, by default it's normal, of course, opacity 100%. If I click on normal here, I'm going to choose multiply. This effect is commonly used. It multiplies the colors together, which is quite interesting. I really like that effect, so I'm gonna leave it like that. So once you're done, of course, make sure you save your file properly, and at the end you choose File, Export, Save for Web, and then you choose PNG. Why? It's because on Facebook, PNG files, they tend to appear way much better than JPEG. JPEG, you're going to have a huge loss of quality, of colors. It affects a lot the pictures. I don't know why, but on Facebook, really the pictures are looking way much better when you choose PNG and you upload those PNG files. So you click Save and you're done.